Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and today we'll look at the moment when Flash becomes the god of fear. These events take place after the Blackest Night event. This is part of the Green Lantern saga, Brightest Day. 6 weeks ago, Darkness became conscious and called itself Necron. Necron turned the dead into his personal army and waged a war to end all life across the universe, but he lost. Usually, the Green Lanterns handle enemies like him. However, this time it required joining forces with their greatest enemies and allies to drive a proverbial stake through Necron's heart. After Necron's night, the 7 entities of the different corps arrived at Earth due to the presence of a White Lantern battery. These entities are the most powerful cosmic beings in the universe, and they have the ability to possess living beings. Now that they're on Earth, they've been seeking their respective hosts to control. Their motive is currently unknown. Hal Jordan is responsible for finding them and driving them off the planet. As in Blackest Night, it's an incredibly difficult task, and he had no choice but to work with the different corps. We start with Flash, Barry Allen, who was nearby when he encountered Hal Jordan. The Earth is in complete chaos, and a girl has been possessed by an entity, the entity of Hope, to be precise. Hal tells him that he'll fix it, but Flash knows that's a lie. Atrocitus destroyed 3 buses full of prisoners. Hal is working alongside Atrocitus and Sinestro. That's something Barry doesn't like. Hal tells him there's no other choice. He'll have to work with his enemies. When they had to combine the lights to defeat Necron, there was no other way, and in the end, they managed to beat the enemy. Flash tells him they're friends, and now that he's here, he can ask his friend for help to solve this. Why should he work with Sinestro and the other villains? Hal says only the Lanterns can handle the entities. He knows where 5 of them are, but 2 have disappeared, including Parallax. If Flash comes across that entity, it'll be very dangerous for him. But for Flash, danger shouldn't stop them. This is something very serious for Hal Jordan, and he doesn't agree with his friend helping him. When Hal was possessed by Parallax, Flash wasn't there. Hal killed his fellow Lanterns and allowed Parallax to turn him into a monster. Barry asked, "What's the difference now if you're currently working with monsters?" Besides, during Blackest Night, Hal used Parallax against the Spectre and the Black Lanterns. So, why would Parallax be a danger to Flash? Hal explains that he spent years fighting the entity's influence and risked everything to break free from its control. He won't risk Flash's integrity. Flash has to step back. This isn't his responsibility. Meanwhile, on the planet OA, Salak reports to the Guardians. He's been monitoring Hal Jordan's ring for a while. Let's say it's working, but the Green Lantern hasn't reported anything. This is very unusual, and it's likely he's trying to work outside the system. It's Salak's duty to report this kind of situation. The Guardians order the Alpha Corps to investigate. Salak mentions that they're still recovering from Cyborg Superman's manipulation. He recommends sending someone outside the Corps, someone from Earth. Back with Barry, he still disagrees with his friend's actions. All Hal is doing is pushing people away. It's unbelievable that he's working with Sinestro and Flash won't have it. What he's trying to tell his friend is that when you're in a hole, you need to stop digging. They need to bring Atrocitus to justice for his crimes. And just in case Hal starts to argue, Flash wants him to know he won't be the only one trying to talk sense into him. Flash got there first because he's the fastest, but it's likely someone else will come. Larfleeze is also present and asks if he's Barry Allen. Is that really his name? Larfleeze asks this because he just took Barry's wallet and checked his ID. I don't know why Flash had his wallet out, but anyway. St. Walker tells Flash that he's neither a murderer nor a thief. Yet even the Blue Lantern is working with their enemies. He knows that this mission to locate the entities must be accomplished with all of them. They have to protect the possessed people and prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. The Indigo Lanterns will also join them on this mission. They're aware of the entity's activities and have already brought their own to this place. But what is Black Hand doing with them? The last time, he was obsessed with causing the death of all living beings. The Indigo says they gave him compassion, and with the Indigo ring, he was truly reborn. Hal tells her that Black Hand can't erase his crimes just by using a new ring. Maybe Hal's right, but William reminds him that Hal did the same when Parallax controlled him. Now, Black Hand has been reborn, and this ring is his salvation. Both have had their own rebirth. This upsets Flash even more. Hal was already working with Sinestro and Atrocitus, and now with Blackhand too? Would he really choose them over Batman or Superman? The Indigo tribe helps those who are capable of helping themselves, and that's what they're doing. They've all been reborn. Something is happening with the entity of hope. He realizes that he cannot feel hope within Blackhand. It seems as though the emotions are being controlled by the ring. So, there was no real rebirth. He's simply being controlled. All the Corps prepare for battle. The Indigo One tells them that if they choose not to work with them, they will still be the ones to deal with the entities. Hal can't trust the tribe, so there won't be any team-up. An unknown figure arrives, and this being comes with Parallax. Hal thinks the entity is after him, but the stranger lets him know otherwise. Parallax is not here for Hal Jordan. It's here for someone new. It came for Flash. Flash fears for his friend's future, fears for Hal Jordan, and that fear is more than enough. The entity takes control of the speedster's body, giving rise to Flash Parallax. A battle begins, and as it turns out, Hal Jordan had nothing under control. The two are still friends. Entities of fear or not, he can still call him Flash. With those words, Hal throws several punches. Hal knows someone must be behind the entities, although he's unsure of who or why. They've unleashed Parallax against Flash. The fight continues, and there's nothing Hal can do against his opponent, who is already powerful by himself. Now, with the speedster's power, he's even more so. That's why Hal didn't want the Justice League involved. He didn't want someone so powerful to be possessed by the power of fear. Hal Jordan admits that he's afraid, but now he has something to overcome. That's all he needed to focus his willpower and inflict some damage. They'll need to go somewhere Flash can't run, and the only place where he can is up in the air. Above the clouds, Flash seems to regain consciousness and asks what's happening. He begs Hal to stop. He's his best friend. Hal tells him that if any part of him is thinking clearly, he knows he's not fighting Barry, but Parallax. Parallax emerges once again and takes control. The entity tells Hal that he owes a debt. Despite their differences, they were always good friends, and with Parallax's power, he can truly connect with the extra-dimensional energy that makes him the fastest man alive, the Speed Force. Hal had Parallax and was trying to talk Barry down, but Parallax breaks free and delves into Barry Allen's memories to make Hal feel guilty. The first time they met, Barry gave Hal a book about time travel, a book that Hal Jordan never read. Parallax grabs Hal by the neck. Flash always wanted to travel through time. Hal recovers and tells Parallax that he didn't read the book, but he did watch the movie. It's like when someone doesn't read the comic, but watches the movie. But what does that have to do with Jordan? The book's plot was about a society that had evolved into a simpler form of life. They never questioned why certain things were forbidden to them. It wasn't until they encountered the cannibals that they realized they were bred as livestock. Flash always imagined they fought against the Morlocks, who treated them like cattle and took control of their lives. That's not too different from Parallax and Hal Jordan. Parallax isn't just terror, it's also enlightenment. It taught Hal to acknowledge fear rather than ignore it. Now it's Flash's turn to learn from fear, and Barry is afraid of losing someone. Parallax almost convinces Hal, but Hal knows Barry already overcame his loss long ago. Parallax may have access to Barry's memories, but he's not Barry Allen. He's just an insect. Hal asks why Parallax is wasting time with Barry. If the entity wants revenge on Hal Jordan, it can take him right now with him standing right there. Or is it afraid? Parallax briefly leaves Barry and declares that it is fear, and fear fears nothing. The unknown being who carries the entity of fear returns. Hal Jordan doesn't have to resist, since his previous experience would likely make him immune to its influence. Hal Jordan notes that this figure seems like a guardian, although the stranger denies it. Hal says he's right. The Guardians aren't so temperamental and don't acknowledge their emotions. How is this figure controlling Parallax? The stranger explains that he once controlled all the entities. He was their guardian, and now he's once again the master of Parallax. He also controls Ion. Even the willpower stored in Hal's ring obeys this being rather than Hal Jordan. The War of Light has placed the emotional spectrum in the hands of many throughout the universe. The conversation is interrupted. The lanterns nearby arrive just in time to stop the mysterious being. Hal Jordan asks St. Walker for help. His light can weaken Yellow, and Hal needs his help to pull Parallax out of Barry Allen. Meanwhile, somewhere on Earth, Sinestro receives a message from one of his men. The Armorer has kidnapped his daughter. Kyle Rayner is trying to rescue her, but the Armorer demands Sinestro's presence, or else he'll kill her. Sinestro mentions that Kyle couldn't even free a snowflake from an avalanche, and so he departs. Returning to the battle with Parallax. While some fight the mysterious being, others try to help Barry with Parallax. The entity of hope says that those without hope are blinded by it. That's a mistake. The stranger does have hope, and thanks those present for bringing him the entities. The entities are captured by this mysterious being, and in the end, Barry Allen is freed from Parallax. Hal Jordan asks who he is. The mysterious being says his identity is no secret and that he isn't hiding. These are the bandages of evolution designed to regenerate his body, which had been destroyed by the Guardians. They exiled him not just because he sought the secret of life, but also because he experienced the joy of discovering it. The Renegade Guardian has returned. He is Crona, and he's mad. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.